welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
Kelly.
We're talking about Real Housewives of New York, season 15, episode number 9.
We're so close. We're so close to it being over. I think
one-
we're over the halfway hump, right?
I think so. This one's called Coming Clean. We pick up at Ubah's pigeon picnic, which I'll be honest with you, it did not go how I thought it was going to go. You know, we ended off with Erin about to walk in and them all talking about what Erin had been doing, but it really took them a while to get there. And even when they got there, it was very underwhelming.
And, you know, sometimes I struggle with the definition of gaslighting or examples of gaslighting. But when Raquel started saying to Erin how she felt about her not telling her that Brynn was in on it and how Erin reacted, I'm like, oh, that's what gaslighting is.
Yeah.
I felt that Erin completely gaslighted her. Right?
Yeah, that whole situation.
I thought that was a perfect example.
Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was.
Yeah.
So Rebecca asks if they all got the invite to her engagement party, and she talks about how it's the ballroom theme, underground ballroom. She told them to think Pose or Paris is Burning. Now, Pose is the Billy Porter. It was a series, but since it stopped, it's not on anymore. And that was based on Paris Burning. Paris is Burning. So that was pretty much, I think it was the 70s. In New York City, drags, queens, the underground society. It wasn't very well received, but, you know, there was a lot of struggle and, you know, that they went through. So I just think, honestly, that's an interesting theme to pick for your engagement party, which should be celebration.
I have no idea. Like, I still, even just you telling me, that's all I know about it. So I have to look it up.
Yeah.
But did Jessel think it was like Vogue, like Madonna's Vogue?
Yes, and it is not. That is not it. I know. I love Jessel, but
I do too. Because I think that is like a very genuine response that she had. I don't think she was trying to play to the camera at all.
No.
I don't think she made that up. I think she really legit thought she meant voguing.
Yep.
She did this.
Yep, that's what she thought. She's like, oh, I can't wait to see what she wears.
Somebody should come in the Madonna costume where like she had the cones.
With the pointed, yeah.
Yes.
That would be great. Maybe it'll be Jessel.
I hope so. I hope so.
Then Ubah gives an update on her doctor's appointment that, you know, she needs to have fibroid surgery. And I guess their location is really what the risk is because it's very close to her uterus and she wanted to get a second opinion.
She has fibroids, right?
She has fibroids, yes.
Which, knock on wood, I have never had, but I understand that is extremely painful.
Yeah, I do too. I've never had fibroids either, so I don't know.
I mean, I worked with a woman years ago before I had children, and she had them terribly. Like, she would have to leave work, then she'd be out. You know, it's no joke.
No, I believe it's no joke because that's kind of what she was saying, that it's so painful and that she spends days in bed.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, that's affecting your quality of life. So,
absolutely.
But I understand that one wants to get a second opinion, especially if she wants to have children. Like if maybe she has to suffer through them to have the children and then fix the problem since she's been suffering through it for this long. Maybe that's what she is going to look at doing. Right. I get that.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, though, the entire time, like Brynn is sitting there sucking on her penis pop.
She's an asshole.
And then a little while later, they were blurring out the penis pop, but we all knew what it was. And then
I think she's Samantha Jones.
I know.
This is what she thinks.
And then a little while later, I don't know if you saw, but she was eating a vagina pop, which they did not.
I didn't even notice that.
They did not blur that out. They did not blur that out. I was like,
it's so juvenile. It's so juvenile.
It really is. It really is.
Like it's not funny. You're not funny.
No, I totally agree.
And don't do stuff like that and throw yourself at every man on camera
and woman.
Flirt with everyone who walks by you and then get offended when someone asks if you have a sugar daddy.
Right.
Because you put it out there that you want one.
Yeah.
You make everything a sexual innuendo.
Yeah, she does. She absolutely does. She does. And then she says, let's play a game. Let's go around and say, here's a rumor about you. And then you say if it's true. Okay, so this is how they're going to get it out there. And they start out with Jessel. Jessel tricked Pavitt into marrying her.
This was interesting.
This was very interesting. And she said, yep, it's true. She only had 3 months left on her visa, and she told him that. So they got legally married before they had their big wedding, because otherwise she was not going to be able to stay in the country, I guess, because her work visa was going to be up. And I did think that that was very interesting. And I mean, I wonder if her family knew about that, because they do now.
Well, I'm sure they knew about it.
I hope so.
I'm sure they knew about it because they were probably like, what are you going to do? Is he going
Right.
to marry you or not?
Right.
Are you staying or not? You coming home? What's going on? Do we need to change your room back into a room from the gym that we made it into when you moved?
And then Brynn says in her confessional, I hope ICE is not watching this. I mean, they got married. I mean, what does it matter?
I think she's good.
Yeah, I think she's fine, Brynn.
Although I'm just learning because of friends.
Mm-hmm.
It is still, well, it's a student visa, not a work visa, but it's still like a 10-year process, even after you get married.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Because
so
then I guess
maybe
then
she's not in the clear.
Right. Well, I guess then you get like your green card, right? Which is different than a visa. And then you have to go through that process of becoming a citizen.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. They don't make it easy. I will say that.
No, they don't. They don't. And then Rebecca says everyone asks her about her beliefs, but they're like, well, that's not a rumor. She says, Jessel's like, well, do you see Tom Cruise? That's all Jessel cares about is see Tom Cruise.
Forgot they flash back to her being like, we could see Tom Cruise's kids could be going to this school.
No, they went there.
Tom Cruise they did. I was
they went
say,
there.
Does he have kids this young? He can't possibly.
No, they went there when they were that young.
Okay. Like, damn,
it's so funny.
It is really funny, her fixation on Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And then she explains it again. Judaism is her religious belief, and Scientology is an applied philosophy to help communicate better. It's a better skill set. It's courses in counseling. And Jenna we have to watch this about this documentary. We have to watch this Going Clear, because Jenna mentions
let's watch it and do a pod on it.
Yeah, Jenna mentions it that, she knows, she saw the documentary Going Clear, and she knows the person who wrote it.
That's right, she does.
Personally. And this is what I think organized religion is, and she said this is why organized religion is the number one cause of death in the universe.
What does that mean?
It's not guns, it's not cancer. So I can only guess what she means by that, saying it's the number one cause of death. I'm thinking of like religious persecution in places like Israel, and I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I think we need more of an explanation on that one, because I was like, what did she say?
Yeah, when she said that, I was very shocked, and I guess she's getting that from Going Clear. So we need to watch Going Clear,
okay,
and talk about it so that we can get a better understanding about it, because I really don't understand it. I don't understand what she's saying.
Right.
And those are bold statements to make. That's
a huge statement to make.
Right. And then Sai talks about the rumor about she broke up a marriage, and she said that, it was that David owned a restaurant and she got pregnant. Sai says that that's not true. She met him 6 years after he was divorced. So she debunks that rumor.
And that is what we heard.
Right. That was a rumor that we heard.
Yeah, her first season.
Yeah.
The first season.
Yeah, I guess my light just gave out. Well, this is how I'm going to be lit from here on out. It is what it is.
It looks fine.
Yeah, it's fine. And then next was Raquel says, when I was at the sex museum, I found out, this is when we find out, that Erin had tried to find the leaky pigeon prior and had told Brynn about the Rebecca rumor. So this is where they finally bring out that Erin is the one who told Brynn. And this is when Rebecca finds out that Brynn knew prior to the dodgeball game.
Right.
Again, this is a very roundabout way of getting here.
Mm-hmm. Still very confusing.
Very roundabout, which is why when I watch New York, just like when I watch Salt Lake City, I have to keep pausing and rewinding and then thinking and seeing exactly what's going on, because it's very confusing.
It's exhausting.
It really is. It's not a fluid story. It's very choppy. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
No, me neither. It's exhausting.
Erin says, I didn't tell Brynn. Brynn says, yes, you did at drinks when we had drinks that night. Erin said, I
How
didn't.
about this, production? Don't let Brynn and Erin go have drinks off camera.
There you go. Yeah. Because then we would see it, right?
Right. 2 seasons in a row, this bullshit's going on.
Yep. Brynn says, I can take this prank to the next level. I told you that. That's what she says to Erin. I told you I can take this prank to the next level. Erin says, no, I didn't know you were going to make up the story. Then Erin says to Raquel, I'm mad at you for targeting me in this, because Raquel is the one who brought it up and Rebecca had no idea. Like Raquel's like, I felt a certain way about this. Like, I'm new to this group and I see that this is what's going on.
Right. And now I feel like Brynn's not somebody who's trustworthy. I can't trust her.
Right. And Brynn said she was in on the prank, and Erin, continues to say no, she wasn't. And then Jenna, in her confessional, she says the definition of being in on a prank is what she's holding on to. Erin is holding on to, because Erin said, I wasn't trying to test you. And Brynn said that you said that is what you said. And that is what she said. We are testing you, that we're trying to see, if you can keep the secret. And that is what she's holding on to. Like, what is the definition of the prank and why? Like, just why? We are in New York City.
Yeah.
We are in New York City. There's so much more we can be doing.
Yes.
There's so much more we can be doing. Instead, we're in the middle of Central Park arguing about what a prank is and the definition of a prank. And did you know about it? And didn't you? It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
It's ridiculous that this is like a story. It's ridiculous that we're still watching this and hearing about it.
But I will tell you that the next scene is the reason I am watching it, because after we finally got through that stupid bullshit in the park, we see Erin meets up with Jenna, and she's saying that her father's having some health issues. And Jenna says, is he okay? And she said, yeah, I think he's going to be okay. And then Erin starts talking about how she was approached by Glamour Magazine because she is friends with Sam Barry, the editor-in-chief, and she's going to be talking about her experience with having an abortion. And she's nervous about it. And I get that. I totally get that she's nervous about it. It's a big thing. It's a big thing to talk about. She feels a certain way, as a lot of women do, about the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And, she tells Jenna that she was 18 years old and she was in college. Her father doesn't know about it. She didn't tell anybody. She went and did it on her own. And then Jenna is gracious enough to share her own story.
Yeah.
About what happened to her when she was 21, and that, she also got pregnant, and she hasn't shared this with many people either. And I do think that that's sad. I think it's sad that there's a lot of women out there that have to carry these burdens, and it shouldn't be a burden. It really shouldn't. It shouldn't, but it is.
You have to have someone to talk to about it. It's something to think about every day of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when you consider the other side, the other half in this equation probably does not ever really give it a second thought.
If they know, like, it doesn't even sound like those two.
If they know.
Shared.
Right.
I mean, maybe they did.
Right. No, but you're right.
Either way, it's their choice.
It's their choice. 100%. It is their choice.
Because it doesn't sound like either one of them were in like a long-term relationship with the other person.
Right.
Which is okay.
Right. And again, they were both young and, 18 and 21, starting your career in college, not equipped to deal with this. I get it. I totally get it. I get it. And I do think it's something that needs to be talked about. And I'm glad that she's doing the Glamour interview. I'm glad that they spoke about it on camera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that Erin gave her side as well, not just Erin, being left out there. And she says that she's, she hasn't told her dad yet, and she's afraid to tell him.
But she has to before the article comes out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then we leave that scene and we go back to Jenna's house, and we see that her personal chef, Rob, is there. And he's going to teach Beckett how to make mushroom risotto so that he's prepared to cook.
Because every college kid is going to be cooking mushroom risotto in their dorm room. And they're fellow dorm mates are going to love it. Love that smell. Mushroom risotto.
I was like, boy, okay. I love Beckett. I think he's sweet. I like him a lot.
No, he's super sweet.
I like
But why
seeing
don't
him.
we see Jenna's fiance at all?
I guess she doesn't want to be on camera.
He doesn't want to film.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Listen, I respect that. They're not married. They're not married.
Right.
And listen, her son isn't 18, and she's lucky that the father signed off to allow him to film.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we see that. The next thing we see is Ubah shows up at Spring Fertility, and she sits down with them, tells them about her fibroid. She's 40. She wants to try, natural, but try, to get pregnant. But then they found the fibroids. She wants to try, with her age, she wants to know, like, should she have the surgery? She's embarrassed that she never even heard of fibroids. She didn't know anything about it. Again, like, that's another thing that I think is very sad. The fact that she's had very painful periods, which that she did know about and never sought medical attention for it, just dealt with it thinking that that's what I have to deal with. This is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if she had maybe dealt with this 20 years ago when she started having, or whenever she started having these very painful periods, this would have been a whole different conversation.
Right.
And I feel bad for her. I feel bad that she's in this situation. I do. I don't think she should be embarrassed, though. She wants to know, like, if she has a surgery, what the recovery time is going to be. Like, should she do it if she's trying to get pregnant? And, the doctor says it could be up to 6 months. She asks if there's a medication that she can take instead of having surgery. The doctor says, well, there is a medication, but it's a form of contraceptive. And that's going to not allow you to get pregnant.
Yeah, I think they do put you on birth control to try to control the...
Yes.
Because I think they come back every month, right? Fibroid? I guess maybe when you ovulate?
I think so. It's kind of maybe like a flare-up kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
With the change in your hormones and contraceptive.
Yeah, so that would defeat the purpose if
Right.
she went on. Yeah.
Right. So, Oliver is aware of the situation and he said, we'll do what we need to do. Like, we'll work it out. But she's still a little bit nervous about it, which is understandable. Right. Yeah. And I don't really think she has made any decisions yet, but at least now she's gotten 2 opinions and she has a little more knowledge to kind of try and make an educated decision as to how she wants to proceed. Right. I don't know. The next thing we see is Jessel and Pavitt are out with the kids together, but we didn't really see anything with that. So I don't know what that whole scene was about.
No, I think they were just trying to show, like, the one kid was trying to run off. And I mean, they're so little. They're babies.
Yeah, they're little. They are little. Yeah.
They're so cute, though.
No, they are. They're adorable. I think our kids are adorable.
Boys, and they're rambunctious, or at least the one is.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Listen, as a mom of 3 boys, boys are rambunctious.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Then we see Erin shows up at the Condé Nast for her Glamour interview, and her friend Sam Barry is there. And she starts talking about when she found out she was pregnant and, how she had the abortion. She was ashamed. She couldn't tell her mother. I mean, she did finally tell her mother, but
not until after it was done.
And her mother felt horrible. And her mother shared with her that it had happened to her as well.
Which is really interesting because of her mom's age.
Well, listen, I think that this happens way more than we know.
Yeah.
I think this happens.
Yeah, you know what? Because I was thinking it might have happened to her mom when she was younger, but if her parents got divorced, maybe it happened to her mom, like, after she and Erin's dad got divorced and she was dating.
Honestly, it could have happened when she was younger, because I don't know if I ever told you this story, but, my husband's mom is 95 years old and, she is very Catholic, but she has always been pro-choice because when she was younger, a girlfriend of hers got pregnant and had to go to a back alley doctor and wound up dying from the abortion. So it's been happening. It has been happening.
This is why Roe versus Wade should not have been overturned.
Yes.
This is why.
Yes, because this has been happening.
I understand it's up to the individual states.
Right.
But
Right. Exactly. And it's sad. It's very sad.
Terrible.
It's very sad and again, This is not a new issue. This has been
No.
happening.
Yes.
And that's the problem, is that people couldn't talk about it. And they'd
That's
have
right.
they'd have to take it into their own hands. And things like this break my heart. And I'm
Me too. That's terrible.
I'm glad that they are talking about it, because it affects us still today. And it shouldn't. It should not be affecting us today. It shouldn't, but it is.
Right. Right.
It is. The interviewer said that we're getting to a place where this number floored me. 1 in 4 women have had abortions. 1 in 4 women, that's 25% of the people in this world. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Erin is saying that as a mom of 3, she can't, think about it. She can't imagine that there's an 18-year-old girl out there now who may not have this option.
Right.
Jenna,
Right.
and it's, again,
Safely.
right, safely. And like we said, it shouldn't have been overturned. It is back in the States. There are some states where it is still legal and it's not an option, but not everybody can get to those states. And it's not that easy for them. And it shouldn't be legislated. It should be your choice. It should be your choice. Bottom line, it should be your choice. Then we see Jenna is meeting with Raquel.
Yeah. Where were they, in art gallery?
Yes.
Still talking about the prank.
Still talking about the prank.
Maybe we just put this one to bed, ladies.
I think so. Jenna does say that she does have a crush on Raquel and that she's been given a hall pass.
She's allowed to have a girl crush.
Right. Which I think is interesting.
It's very interesting.
But okay.
I am allowed to have a crush on Mark Wahlberg and LL Cool J, and they are my hall passes.
Okay. So, but these aren't
well aware.
Okay. But are these people that you see on the daily?
They are not.
That's where I think it's a little odd, right?
One time, Joseph was working at a restaurant local to us and texted me and said, the actor from Ted is here. And I said, Mark Wahlberg? And he said, yeah, I think that's him. Now, I had just colored my hair and gotten out of the shower and looked like a drowned rat. Otherwise, I would have hauled my ass over to that restaurant. He was there with his wife and kids, though. So I don't think the hall pass would have happened the way I would have wanted it to.
It would have been a little awkward, I'm sure.
Very much so.
Next, we see at Ubah's apartment, and Sai shows up. So now we've seen Ubah's apartment 2 times.
I know, this is very exciting.
Yes, it really is. Ubah says that Erin called her today and she thinks that she was singled out and that she feels like Jenna is finally experiencing what everyone is saying about Erin gaslighting. So again, we talked about it in Central Park. They talked about it in the art gallery. Now we're at Ubah's apartment and we're talking about it again.
That was funny when she was like, if you have been victim to gaslighting, call 1-800.
Right.
That was funny.
They both agreed that the way she acted towards Raquel was not right, like jumping all over Raquel.
It really wasn't. She was very defensive. And when people get like that, it normally means they're guilty.
Right. And that they don't trust Erin anymore. Jenna and Raquel have not spoken with Brynn either. They both believe Brynn embellishes, which you can call it embellish it or you can call it outright lying, because I think she lies.
Right.
I think she goes beyond embellishment. I think she just lies.
Yes, I agree.
Not really happy with that. But the next scene, happy to see when Erin meets up with her dad. Not happy to see, but it was a real scene. At least it was real.
And I can't imagine having that conversation on TV.
No, with your dad?
With your dad.
No, I can't imagine.
Kudos to her for pulling that off.
I did note, though, when he shows up, he said to her, she looked great today. And then he was coughing. And he said he's okay, but he didn't sound okay. And she said he was having health issues. And we now know he's since passed. So I just think is sad, that whole situation.
Yeah.
She said she had fun with him at the mescaline party. And, she wants to make her dad proud of her. And then she says that I have to tell you something that, I did this Glamour Magazine article, and she goes on to tell him she was 18. And he said, you tell me 18 years after, what would I do then to support you? I probably, I would have supported you, And Erin's crying, which I don't blame her. And she didn't expect that. Like, she didn't expect that unwavering support, which, again, like, was a long time ago, and you don't know how people are going to react. And, he
I think
said,
it's easy, to say now what you think you would have done. But
well, yeah. But I do, listen, it's your daughter, you know? I don't, I mean, I know as a mom, I will support my children no matter what.
for sure.
And I feel like you're the exact same way.
Absolutely.
So, I just hope that they know that, you know? I
Yeah,
think
you
they
gotta
do,
hope.
right?
You
I
gotta
think
hope
they
they
do,
do.
but I hope that they know that. Like, I don't want them to walk through difficult times alone because they don't need to. I will be there for them.
Right.
Like, you'll be there for your kids.
Yeah, when they let you, sometimes they don't let you.
No, I get it. I get it. She then asked him if he ever went through that, and he said yes.
Yeah, that was quite something.
He said yes. And Erin said it was terrifying. He said, I'm proud of you that you take care of yourself. In her confessional, she said that, he was the best dad and she still can't believe he's not here. And then 4 months after filming that is when he passed. And, it was it was very touching,
I wonder what happened. Like, I don't know if he was a smoker. I don't know.
I don't
I
know
wonder what
either.
happened. We never really found out, which obviously it's none of our business, but
No, it's
it's
not.
just sad that, they didn't realize it was coming, and then 4 months later he was gone. And meanwhile, she's dealing with her mom's illness.
Exactly. Exactly. So then that night on Watch What Happens Live, it was Erin, Kyle, Ubah, and Garcelle.
I didn't watch it.
Hold on, maybe they were in
Miami.
Miami. Yes, because, okay, they must have been in Miami because why else would they have all been there?
Yeah. I did not
Erin,
watch.
yeah, so Erin said that after she had shared, her story, that she got 3 stories back from others, which, again, her mother, her father, and Jenna.
Right.
And we now know the statistic is 1 in 4.
That's right. That's right.
Very, it's powerful. I'm glad they talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I like watching Housewives. I like it
Mm-hmm.
when they do things that are real.
Right.
I like it when they can make a difference and push people towards change or awareness and just to get the word out there,
Right. Right.
That's why I watch.
Yeah, me too.
That's why I watch. I don't watch it for the stupid gaslighting and the bickering and the fighting. I know my friend Dana likes the fighting.
She does. She was committed to that.
We're going to have to invite Dana back
Yeah, for sure.
so we can get her viewpoint on the fighting, but I don't like the fighting. I don't.
Me neither.
I don't like it.
I mean, a little bit of drama is good. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
private investigators and,
Right. No, we don't need that.
bringing bloggers in, going after people's, like the Alibaba thing, like going after people's incomes outside of the housewives. I don't
Right.
know.
It's not.
Bringing up and Adam into it. It's not enjoyable to watch personally. I don't think.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
Like Meredith, I just think that everything that comes out of her mouth is just bullshit.
I wouldn't mind if I never saw Meredith again.
Yeah, like we need to weed out the BSers. I would prefer to not see the Richards sisters anymore. I feel like that's all played out. Please get them off my screen. Or if you just want to get rid of Kyle and Kathy, bring Kim back. I'd be on board with that, quite honestly.
I don't think
Tired of
it's
Kyle.
I don't think
Can't
it's a good
stand
environment
Kathy.
for Kim. I don't think it's a healthy
You're
environment
right.
for Kim.
You're right.
I wouldn't want to see her back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see.
We're, come on. Like, move on.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you got to do with Jersey, do with Jersey.
Yeah, but we're not going to find out until January. So stop asking. We're not going to find out. I will say that I saw on Instagram, Melissa's sister, Lisa, for Thanksgiving made a salted caramel espresso martini. So I think we should maybe try and make one of those
I
for
think we should.
our next, when Lori gets back. So Lori will be back next week.
Yeah, so why don't we plan that to be our charcuterie night as well?
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
It looks
And by the
delicious.
way, here's another PSA. And
Good.
this is no shade towards Lisa, Melissa's sister, because that's not why I'm bringing it up. But I don't really, I guess it doesn't matter because I could just keep scrolling like we tell people. But enough with that. Why are all of the housewives cooking on social media now? It's not just Melissa and Teresa anymore. I saw Dolores on there doing it. And I don't even think it's just the Jersey girls. Like, they're all just like, what? Why? Why are you all cooking on social media?
I mean, like you said, if you don't like it, just keep scrolling.
Yeah, I guess I can. I'm just curious, like, why? Like, where did this come from?
I guess just another way to get content out there and hope for an endorsement from somebody. Right?
No, good point. Good point. There you go. Dolores was cooking with someone else. It wasn't just her.
Okay.
I mean, Kathy Wakili's been doing this for years, by the way, because I follow her on Instagram. I've been watching her cook for years.
Well, maybe we should start cooking, and maybe we'll get an endorsement. But
let's do it.
I mean, I don't cook. I can hold the camera. I make it stir something.
Yeah, let's do it.
You don't want to see me in the kitchen. You seriously don't. It's good.
Wendy's like, I'm the baker. And then you get like the peel off cookies.
Oh, yeah. I buy the frozen. I get the tub you scoop.
That counts.
If there's a shortcut involved, I'm taking it.
I was going to make this oat raspberry non-dairy dessert for Thanksgiving.
No,
I made I made 2 appetizers, and I did make a half tray of macaroni and cheese, which I'd never made before, and it came out pretty good. But I'm like, nah. I went over to Mike's Crumb Cakes and got a double crumb vanilla.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
It was so good. His crumb cakes are good.
That's good.
It was $20.
That's all right.
Good. It is what it is.
$20 and not having to clean the pan. No,
exactly.
Sign me up. Just sign me up.
Worth it.
Sign me up.
Mm-hmm. It was really good.
I will say that, so we are 2 days post Thanksgiving while we're filming this, and I think we're finally out of turkey. We do still have meatballs and sausage left because, that's the way we roll over here.
Right.
Bill did make the meatballs this time without the Parmesan cheese, and I will say they were very good.
He just left it out altogether.
He left it out altogether because my one son's all of a sudden can't eat dairy.
Right.
They were very good. I was just as happy with them. And yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please give us 5-star reviews and tell your friends. Bye.
Bye.